for the Ethiopian Educational Information and Communication Technology presents Educational Satellite Television Programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on the mechanism of breathing. In our last lesson, we began our studies on respiration. We learned about the respiratory system and about breathing structures by examining the structure of the lungs. Today, we will learn about the mechanism of breathing. We will describe how the structures of the respiratory system work, and we will discuss how air moves in and out of the lungs. Are you ready to begin? Let us start with an activity. Please stand up and place your hands on both sides of your rib cage. Now, for the next few minutes, try breathing gently, then breathing deeply. Feel the different way your chest moves when you alter your breathing.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, class. Did you feel how the size and the shape of your ribcage changed as you breathed? For respiration to occur, air needs to move in and out of the lungs. Inhalation is the movement of air from the external environment through the airways into the lungs. Exhalation is the movement of the air out of the lungs through the airways to the external environment. Inhaling and exhaling happen because of the movements of the ribcage and the diaphragm. The difference between the two movements can be seen or felt in the movement of the ribcage, but you cannot see the diaphragm move. Breathing movements occur by two different sets of muscles that change the pressure in the chest. When a breath is taken in, the ribs move up and out. The muscles of the diaphragm contract and flatten from their normal dome shape. Intercostal muscles are several groups of muscles that run between the ribs and help form the chest wall. These muscles help to expand and shrink the size of the chest cavity when you breathe. When a breath is taken in, the intercostal muscles contract. They pull the ribs upwards and outwards at the same time as the diaphragm muscles contract and flatten. These movements increase the volume of the chest or thorax. Now that there is the same amount of gas in a bigger space, the pressure inside the chest drops. In other words, the pressure inside the chest is lower than the pressure outside, and as a result, air moves into the lungs. When you breathe out, the intercostal and diaphragm muscles relax. The ribs drop, and the diaphragm forms a dome shape. The volume of the chest decreases. Therefore, the pressure inside increases as the air is squeezed out of the lungs. Try it for yourself, students. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Take notice of your chest and think about how your diaphragm muscles are working inside your chest. The movement of air in and out of the body is called ventilation of the lungs. Students, in your own words, describe the movement of the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm when breathing in and breathing out.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again. Breathing movements change the air pressure in the chest, which results in air moving in and out of the lungs. The movements of the diaphragm cannot be seen. However, the movements of the rib cage can be seen and felt. When breathing in, the intercostal muscles pull the ribs up and out, while the diaphragm flattens. When breathing out, the intercostal muscles drop the ribs and the diaphragm curves into a dome shape. Did you write down the same answers? If so, well done. There are two sets of intercostal muscles, internal and external intercostal muscles. For normal breathing, only the external intercostal muscles are used. These muscles lift the ribs when inhaling and drop the ribs when the muscles relax during exhaling. The internal intercostal muscles are used when breathing out is deliberate. Air needs to be forced out of the lungs or during exercise. The internal intercostal muscles pull the ribs down hard and squeeze more air out of the lungs. Abdomen muscles can also be used deliberately to increase the amount of air moving in and out of the lungs. We have reached the end of our lesson on the mechanism of breathing. But before we conclude, let us do a few activities to review what we have learned. Please define the following terms: inhalation, exhalation, and ventilation.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, everyone. I hope you were able to define these terms. Inhalation is the act of breathing in. Inhalation is the movement of air from the external environment through the airways into the lungs. Exhalation is the act of breathing out. Exhalation is the movement of air from the lungs through the airways into the external environment. Ventilation is the movement of air in and out of the lungs. How did you do? We have reached the end of our lesson. Today, we studied the mechanism of breathing. We learned how the respiratory structures work to enable breathing. We also defined the terms inhalation, exhalation, and ventilation. Until next lesson, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.